Kenny Anderson is as big a New York City basketball legend as there is. From his days as a star at Archbishop Malloy to Georgia Tech, the Nets, the rest of his NBA career, he was always identified as a true New York legend. The documentary Mr. Chibbs chronicles the challenges of his life after basketball, released tomorrow, IFC Film Center in the Village. We are thrilled to have you here to join us. Good to see you, my friend.
Same here. It's a pleasure, man, to be back home in New York and
talking about all this.
Yeah, all this full circle, man. It's a very emotional week for me.
Well, let's talk about that because you were so revealing in the documentary, all the elements of your life, all the challenges. What made you want to share all that where so many other people would be very private about these things?
I don't know. I just kept going back and forth with it. It was about 4 years ago, the documentary phase, 30 for 30, the short stories.
Oh, yeah.
Friends and family kept egging me on. They put the battery in my back. Yo, you Kenny Anderson, tell your story. And I'm like, and then I talked to my wife, and I'm like, yo, should I tell, what's really good in what's really bad in my life? Let me just open up because I wanted to help others. And my mother passed away in 2005. If she was living, I probably wouldn't have did no documentary. But it kept coming back to me. I gotta open up to help others. I gotta pay it forward. I can't just hold this in and be selfish, and that's what I planned, and that's what I did.
I mean, you open up about your life with your mom growing up, your life now with your wife and your kids. Very fascinating stuff. Go ahead, Anthony.
Kenny, do you have any regrets when you look back at your NBA career? Do you think you could have worked harder? I mean, did you leave anything on the court in terms of what your career could have been, the level that it could have gotten to?
I'm very honest. I think in the lead, when I got in the lead, I could have worked a little bit harder. Kind of lost my work ethic down, a couple of years in. Not in, about late in my career, about 5, 6 years in, and I let a lot of the politics and a lot of things I had no control over affect my passion for the game of basketball in the NBA. You know what I mean? And, everything has to line up. I was used to everything lining up with me. At Malloy, everything was lined up. At Georgia Tech, everything was lined up. Now in the NBA, players leave, coaches leave, contracts. It's more politics. It's more about business. And sometimes when you're young, you don't really realize that.
Sure. My brother, I'm recently retired. I just retired from the New York Jets, and it's a testament because I know about your story. I'm from the South Bronx, New York. My cousin was Carlton Hines, who who not only loved you, but I know you. It was a mutual relationship. One of the things I had to adjust, I'm currently adjusting, is finding a mentor for me. And I'm lucky to have coaches, but I didn't have a mentor who just talked manhood about it. Do you wish you had, or is there somebody that in your life do you have somebody to talk about manhood, or do you preach to somebody about growing up and how your struggles were?
I had one, Vincent Smith. Okay. Vincent Smith was my mentor throughout my childhood. But when you get on your own and when you start making money, you start getting a little more famous, the rope loosens.
Sure.
When I'm young, they have me. I was scared of them. Right. But then when I get a little older, I was able to, get away from that. And I think when I went to Georgia Tech, went to Atlanta, was exposed because in Malloy, I was like a nerd. I did everything I had to do. I stayed home. I was playing basketball, school. I lived at Archbishop Malloy from 7:30 in the morning to 9:30 at night. I just went home to go to sleep, repeated that for 4 years straight. Right. It was really, my schedule was tight. When I went to Malloy, my mentors wasn't in Atlanta, and I got exposed to a lot of different things and lost some not there, but I think when I got drafted and then played 3, 4 years into the league, I lost some of my work ethic. But, I honestly could say that. A lot of people don't want to deal with that and say, I own up to all my mistakes and my even my positive things that happened in my life.
I got a chance to see the movie on Sunday. It's really powerful. It's excellent. And, for people who don't know Kenny Anderson, here's a guy who, when he was in high school, he's a child prodigy. Everyone knew about Kenny Anderson, and there's no internet. That's how big he was. Everybody knew about him. But I want to, a guy that I got to cover after you were out of high school was Jack Curran, your coach, who, passed away. He's a legendary guy. What was it like being around Coach Curran? Because I know you and he had an unbelievable special relationship.
He was everything to me.
Take your time.
Taught me how to lead at an early age. By not teaching me. He just brought me in the office every day. We talked about things. I was a freshman playing amongst juniors and seniors. Taught me how to just lead, how to be a leader at a young age. And he was he was just a great man.
Yep.
He was dedicated to Malloy. Did 50 years there. Didn't matter if you was on the track team, baseball team, basketball team, regular student, you know, the band. He loved Malloy. He loved kids. He loved paying it forward. And I think by me seeing that, I think that's what got into me with Vincent Smith, Pierre Turner, Jack Curran. They saved me. They helped me. And it got into me. It's my obligation to give back, to save, and help other kids.